Right people, how's it going? Welcome to another video. Today we are talking about journaling once again. Specifically, how to start effective journaling. And I've come up with this 5x5 framework, as I'm calling it, to help you do just that. Now in response to my previous video talking about journaling, a lot of people asked how to start or what kind of journal entries I write. And in this video I'm sort of going to encompass all of those ideas with this simple framework. The best thing is about the 5x5 framework for effective journaling is that it takes around 5 minutes and will get down everything I think an effective journal entry should have. 5 key sections for the 5x5 framework are as follows: thoughts, emotions, gratitude, improvement, and action. So my suggestion would be spend a minute on each of the 5 sections when you write your journal entry at the beginning. You can spend more time, obviously, if you want and elaborate on the things that you say, but start with 1 minute for now. Firstly, let's talk about thoughts. It's quite ambiguous, isn't it, just the word thoughts. What do I mean by that? I mean, spend around a minute noting down the key thoughts that you had that day. Thoughts about the things that you did, thoughts about what you learned, thoughts about things that people said, your general mindset throughout the day. What were the recurring thoughts? Because I think when you put thoughts on paper, it objectivizes it more. You learn from your thoughts, you see what kind of thoughts are causing certain emotions. So I would suggest, write down, my main thinking today was like this. This caused this, I learned this, things like that. So the first section should be about your thoughts. The way you can sort of see and measure what the most important thoughts were is when you come to write, what are the first things that spring to your mind about the day? Your thoughts are the main driving forces behind your feelings and your behaviour. So once you can understand your thoughts and get them down on paper, it's a really powerful tool that you can use. Secondly, in the 5x5 framework is your emotions. What did you mainly feel that day? What are you feeling right now as you're writing? What events made you feel particular ways? Try and really understand the emotions that were flowing through you throughout the day. And this is helpful in a similar way to thoughts because it objectivizes your emotions. They no longer seem as threatening as when they're inside you. Going down a couple of sentences about how you felt in that day helps you to process those emotions and helps you to be less affected by them when you're going to sleep that night and into the following days in the future. Gratitude is one of the easiest ways to be happier about your life. You don't have to change anything about your life. With gratitude, it's just how you view it. What are you actually grateful for today? Think about it. Actually take a moment to think. And it doesn't have to be big things. It doesn't have to be generic things like my family or my health. Little things. For example, for me today, I went out for a walk and there's flowers, small little patch of flowers in the front garden of my neighbours. Beautiful. I'm so grateful that I get to experience that. Or the light rain that I felt on my head. Or, the smell of my breakfast this morning. Like tiny little things to be grateful for. And you write these down in your journal. I mean, of course, they can be big things that you're grateful for, things people have done for you, the things that have happened, the things that you've achieved. But I think it's so important to jot down a few sentences of what you're grateful for, because it just increases the value of your life without having to change anything specific. Gratitude is reliable happiness. It's appreciation of what is, and it's not an expectation of what life should be. Now, section 4, improvement, is not going to be for everyone. I'll be honest, some people are happily living their lives and they don't really want to change much about themselves. But if you're about growth, and if you're about building a better self and building a better life for yourself, then the improvement section is important. It's not hatred for yourself. There's no resentment here of a way you acted. It's simply a reminder of you could have done this better. It's constructive criticism on how you acted in your life. Honestly, I think that is how to take yourself and your life to the next level. It's tiny little improvements every single day. Because if you change all the small things every single day, over a long period of time, you change the whole nature of your existence. If you work on saying one thing to someone differently the next day, you will eventually, over time, become a more confident, happy individual. It's so important to recognise in life where we're going wrong. And the ego can get hurt when we recognise that we sort of went off our path and did something we're not very proud of. But when we recognise that we can improve on it and we can be better the next day, that is where our life really changes. That is where we grow. And this is sort of this positive self-improvement. You know, it's not resentment of yourself. It's identifying ways that you could have been better. And that, I think, is a really beautiful thing to do in your life. Fifth and final section, which is action, pairs very nicely with the improvement section, because you've identified areas of the day that you think you could have done better. The action section is important, as it is what are you going to do next. We can say so many things that we're going to do. We can think of so many ideas of how we can act. But a lot of the time, that doesn't actualize. The fantasy doesn't become real. When you specifically write down, tomorrow I will be better by doing this exact activity. Keep it simple. Make it one thing you'll do next day to be better. And I think that will help you take the things that you've written in the improvement section and try and actualize them into real world scenarios. Seeing that the thoughts you've had to better yourself are becoming reality. So, in this section, just write a couple of sentences of tomorrow I will do this because this will benefit me in this way. Tomorrow this small thing will help this bigger goal that I'm working towards. So that, my friends, is the 5x5 framework for effective journaling. Now, follow these as a guideline. It doesn't have to be completely rigid and 1 minute exactly for each section. You can sort of incorporate it into a paragraph about the things you did that day. You can say, this is what I did and I thought this way about it. It made me feel this way. I'm grateful for these aspects. I could have been better in this way. So tomorrow I'm going to do this. Do you understand? It doesn't have to be so bullet pointed and sort of robotic. It can flow. You can just see where your mind takes you and where your mind takes that pen on that paper. If you use my framework for journaling, then let me know in the comments below, or let me know via a message, whatever. I just want to know if you find this effective. What's left to say is get journaling, people. You know what I mean? Get documenting your life. Process your emotions and be a happier, more grateful, better human. If you did enjoy the video, I'd appreciate it if you joined the Be an Anomaly movement by hitting the subscribe button down below. And all that's left to say is that I will see you next time for more.